everyone. My name is Lynette Davis with A&D Media, your host for this episode of Marketing Superheroines and Superheroes Unite. So I have a very special guest who I am going to let introduce herself, although I'm so excited. We used to kind of joke because we have the same last name, so we'll say that's my sister. But so welcome, Sheila.
Thanks, Lynette. Yeah, we're totally sisters. You know it. We do a lot of the same things. We have a lot of things in common. So I'm all for it. We could be sisters. That's great.
Awesome. So Sheila, tell me a bit about yourself and how you serve the world with your unique superpowers, your
Awesome.
USP.
Yeah, your USP. I love it, Lynette. I love the direction you're going with your business. I think it's great. We've known each other for quite a while. I probably about 4 years, I think, more than 4 years. And so it's been a pleasure knowing you and watching you grow and everything. So I'm super excited to be here. As you know, Lynette, and some of you may not know, I actually started out as a virtual assistant, and I gradually moved into doing a lot of different things with my business. And I now have finally settled and found out what I really want to do in my business. And that is I am a business and branding strategist. So my superpower, since I've been through the ranks, success, it's never a straight line, right? Is I really love helping entrepreneurs find their real purpose in their business. Make sure that they're doing exactly what they want to do. When I was a virtual assistant coach, I had a lot of people coming to me and they would say, I'm going to be a health coach, but in the meantime, I want to be a virtual assistant. And I started realizing a lot of people like myself are, they're not quite sure. They know they want to start a business. They know that they want to do, but they want to make money right now. So what do I do to make money right now while I build my business? Well, here's the trick. You can't have two businesses and try and focus on them both. You're not going to make money. You can't split your attention. I've learned the hard way. So what I like to do with my superpowers is make sure that you guys are headed in the right direction, doing exactly what you want to do and what you can do to serve the world. And the number one thing I like to do is dive into your business, find out where you can save money. My last client, I saved $500 a month. And then show you how you can make money right now with what you already have, what you've already created. So pretty exciting. Yeah.
That is. And I know that you were, let me get my little trusty notebook here. I know, I got to see you evolve. We both have seen each other evolve. And I'm so proud of you. And I think it's awesome. And I know that you do an awesome job because I was definitely one of the ones when you were still doing VA, like, what are you doing over here? Like, go. So it's really exciting because I knew that you already had that gift, and it's so exciting to see it really come out and hear you speak about it so clearly. So that's so awesome.
Oh, well, thanks so much, Lynette. It's been really fun. And, I did a little bit of coaching with you. I've done a little bit of coaching with a lot of VAs and a lot of people outside of the VA world. And mostly I work with health coaches, which is kind of funny because I never started out thinking I would work with health coaches. But, you just you need to let your business flow the way that it needs to flow and not be so worried and caught up about what other people think. That's what happened to me. I did what other people thought I should be doing for a really long time. And so I wasn't doing what I loved. And once I started doing what I actually love, then I was able to really see what business is really about.
Definitely. So let me ask you this. Because you've been on both sides, you kind of understand what it's like to be an implementer and what it's like to be somebody who is more of a guide. What is your understanding about the two that makes them so different, but at the same time, there's a need for them both at the same time? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, you need to have a driving force, right? So the way that I kind of see it, so there's someone who has a business and they're like, I want to have a business and I want to do whatever it is. You are the driving force for that business. And you need to be focusing at least 25% of your day every day to drive your business, right? So this happens to a lot of virtual assistants. It happens to a lot of coaches, where we become so involved in what our clients are doing that we don't manage our business. We need to remember that the number one business that we need to focus on, the number one business that if it fails, we fail, is our own business. And a lot of people don't do that. And they end up like buying tools or working with coaches who don't really work for them. You know, I see so many people using the wrong coach or working with the wrong person. So you are the driving force of your business. So there's you. You are the center of the universe. You've always wanted somebody to tell you that, right? So I'm telling you that if you are an entrepreneur, you are the center of your universe. If you quit working, if you aren't doing what you need to do to build your business, it will all crumble and fall down. Then you need to have your support system surrounding you. So you are the sun, and the little solar system that goes around you includes your virtual assistant. You need to have help. And this is so important. And this is what hopefully we can have time to talk about, the processes people need to put in place. Because if you do put the processes in place, it's very easy to outsource to a virtual assistant. The next thing you need to definitely have is marketing, which includes social media, which is one of the things that Lynette really promotes. So you need to have that as part of your solar system, whether you're doing that so that you are showing your own voice, or you hire that out. You need to have that as one of the pieces of your solar system. Another huge piece of your solar system is having a coach. Even coaches have coaches. I don't consider myself a coach. I don't really like the word coach for myself. I'm more of a mentor, a guide, like you said, because I don't create cookie cutter type platforms, which a lot of coaches, that works really great for them. So they plan out and they do they have a certain structure they do with each of their clients. I don't do it that way. I structure it according to what the client needs at the time. So I don't really call myself a coach, but you need to have someone. I have a coach myself. So if you are the sun and you are shining brightly and you are doing amazingly, you're going to have this circle of the solar system around you. The people really close to you are your support system. And then outside of that are your clients. And that's, if that is all working beautifully, then your universe is fantastic.
Awesome. Now, yeah, you know what? I do actually want to go back to that, because one of the things that you were talking about was, in order to even begin to build that solar system piece, you do need to have some systems and processes in place. And I find, since I'm still on the virtual assistant side and now the author side, but but I find that it's really hard for coaches, especially since I do primarily work with coaches, for them to understand that whole build the systems and the processes. And they tend to kind of think, okay, I'm just going to hire a virtual assistant and boom, you know, she can do all that. She can build all that for me. So,
well, it's true. They can build it for you, but with a lot of coaches, there's a gap. And that's one of the gaps that I really like to fill. And you know about it, right? You're like, it's like the black hole of your universe. It's the wormhole that you don't want to go down. And that is one day waking up and saying, I need to hire a virtual assistant. So you contact me, right? Because I have a network. A lot of people will contact me. And so I need a virtual assistant. Well, the first thing I ask them is, what are you going to have them do? And they're like, I don't know. They're just going to help me run my business. Well, guess what? A virtual assistant, their purpose is to do what you ask them to do. A lot of them are very intuitive, like yourself. A lot of the people that virtual assistants in my network are very intuitive, and they can kind of guide you and tell you, you know, what you need to really be doing this, or I know the steps for this process. But if you don't know your own processes, you don't have your own self ready for a virtual assistant, it will not be successful, and it will not be the virtual assistant's fault. It will be your fault. And I see this happening over and over and over. So I always tell everyone, and you'll want to get out your paper and pencil and write this down, because before you hire a virtual assistant, you need to spend a week to 2 weeks writing down every task that you do or don't do because you don't have time, or you want to have done. So you're not just going to write down writing blogs or scheduling social media. You are going to write down that list of things that you do and don't do. And then you're going to expand on that list and say, okay, blog posts. You're going to write down every platform that needs to be used, how they're going to do the research, what the topics are, what the process is. Are you going to write it and have them edit it? Have you proof it one more time? Have them choose the images? Where do they get the images from? All of these things, every single step of every process of everything that you do in your business needs to be in your operations manual. And if you have done that, when you hire a virtual assistant, let me say I hire Lynette. Hey, Lynette, I want you to come and be, you're an author, and I know that you are excellent at social media. So I want you to help me with my blog posts and my social media. And then I'm going to give you that section of my operations manual. And in that, it's going to tell you exactly, I need you to know WordPress. This is the theme I'm using. This is the format I use for my blog post. This is the font I use. This is the colors I use. This is where I get images. This is the size of the images. These are the days that I post. You're going to edit it for me, send it back to me, have me proof it. You're going to turn all the images into circles. All of that is in there. So all I have to do is say, hey, Lynette, I want you to write some blog posts for me. Here you go. If you do that, we will have a successful relationship with our virtual assistants. If we're not doing that and we say, hey, Lynette, I want you to help me with some blog posts, Lynette's going to go, okay, that's a really, what am I supposed to do? I need login details. I need to know what, and then that's when the coach goes, well, my virtual assistant isn't working for me because they can't help me with my blog posts. You didn't tell them what to do. Virtual assistants, that's their job. Their job is to run their business, not to run yours. You run yours by creating your processes. And you're going to have a process for every client from the time that you first make contact until 6 months after. What exact steps is every client going to go through every single time? Because if you have a virtual assistant working with you and you have that structure laid out, then I can go say, hey, Lynette, I've got a new client. Here you go. And she knows, send the intake form. Double check it to make sure that all the links they sent are right. Make sure that any logins that they sent me are right. Make sure that they have every page is working. Then we're going to make sure that they've scheduled their first 2-hour consultation, right? So if you have that all the way down to 6 months after, sending them a testimonial sheet or a survey, how's it going? Are you still finding what I taught you useful? If you have all of that, man, your life is going to be so much easier, and you can just hire people. Give them, your virtual assistant has a baby, whatever. Give the new virtual assistant that processes manual, and you're set to go. I mean, you need to have these things in place. It'll take you a week. It's worth it because it'll save you thousands of hours every year.
Awesome. Awesome. So Sheila, I know because I've been working with coaches long enough, so I'm somewhat in their head. I know they're sitting there like, okay, yeah,
They all they blurred out, like their eyes went like, oh, yeah.
So, with all of that, I know that I'm going back to when you said coaches need coaches, that sometimes they might even need a little bit of hand holding to get through that. Let me do this for this week.
Yes. So are you asking like, what can they do for the hand holding part?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for the hand holding part, here's another little trick. What you're going to do is you're actually going to find a virtual assistant that you know, like, and trust. Or you're going to find another business owner that you know, like, and trust, who is maybe in a little bit of the beginning stages of their business, so that you can maybe make a small trade with them, so it's not going to cost you any money. I know a lot of people don't believe in trading. I totally believe in trading. I have made some really great trades in my business where someone has done graphics for me or has done editing for me, and I trade them for coaching. So if that's something that's going to work for you because money is tight, this is really important. So what you'll do is you'll have them write down all the things that you want help with. Weekly newsletter, Infusionsoft, sales funnels, creating landing pages, whatever it is. Make that list of things you want to do, and then get another business owner or a virtual assistant to draft out what those steps would be, because maybe you don't even know what they are because you haven't done it yet. Or while you're actually doing it. So I actually did this last night with one of my processes. As I was doing one of my processes, I wrote down everything I did. I wrote, the first step and then I did it. And then I wrote, okay, next I needed to do this, and then I did it. So if there's just one process that you write down a day and it takes you a month to write down all your processes, then that's great, because by doing that, by having someone help you and maybe frame it out for you, and then you can go in and go, oh, well, I don't want it done this way. I want it done this way. Then you have your processes manual. You're going to see your time free up. You're going to see if you're using the right tools. You're going to see if you need to maybe add a tool, or maybe you're paying for a tool that you really don't need. There's a lot of things that are going to come from this. So don't make it overwhelming, right? I just explained it in 3 minutes. I explained like this huge process, right? It took me a month to write my entire manual of processes. I had a virtual assistant working with me. I was trading him for coaching, and he helped me write my processes manual, because that's one of his expertise, is he's a project manager. And I'm like, okay, what do you think about this? And so, you're not going to do it overnight, and don't feel like you have to. But if you're considering hiring a virtual assistant, it's a good idea to start out with like one thing, have them do one thing for you. So prepare that one thing before you call the virtual assistant. Then when you interview them, you can say, I would like for you to help me with blog posting. I need to know if you have experience with this, 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 and this. And can you show me some examples of how you've helped another client?
Awesome.
And you're going to be set to go. So don't let it overwhelm you. Do one thing at a time.
Awesome. Awesome. So, you know what? I'm thinking about all these different systems and all of these different processes. And I was going, before I started stuttering, with all of these different processes and systems, I'm wondering, are there a few tools that you like to suggest for us that we can use to kind of help make this process a little bit more efficient?
Absolutely. And I am a huge fan of free tools. So I use Google Docs. I really do. So I'll have a different document for each process. And sometimes I use the form. It's Excel. What is it called? I'm having a brain cramp. So sometimes I use the Google Docs, and sometimes I use the Google Forms. It's not forms, but you know what I'm talking about. Spreadsheets. Okay. So sometimes I use the spreadsheet, and sometimes I use a Google Doc. It depends on what the process is that I'm trying to create. But there's a couple reasons I use a Google Doc. Number one, if I'm out and about and I think of something, I can quickly pull it up on my phone and add something to my list or make a change. And it's all in one place, right? So it's all in one folder. So I have a folder, operations manual, and within that, I have my budget. And I hope you guys know this. Do you know how much money you spend every month on your business? I am surprised at how many business owners don't know how much they spend every month, because it just comes out, or they sign up for something new and they don't add it to the list. So you need to have a list. So I have my budget in there, and I have each operation that I do. I have then also a list of topics for blogs, different things like that. That it's all separated out, and I can find it from anywhere. So let's say I'm on vacation, and I left my computer at home, right? But I can use another computer, and I can log in and either make quick notes or update things or send people information very quickly. It's easily shared with a virtual assistant and then unshared with a virtual assistant, so that you have access anywhere. So really, Google Docs is one of my very favorite tools. My other favorite tool is, just your regular Keynote, which you can make your PDFs on. And what I like to do once I get my processes really in place is I pretty them up. I mean, I'm going to be looking at them every day. So I'll pull it into Keynote, put little graphics around it and things, and make it really pretty. And I actually have a manual, here by my desk that has, my little sheets in it and everything. So if I need to just manually, sometimes, you just want to hold it, right? You just want to be like something physical. And so I do put it into some sheet protectors and things like that. Making sure that you're using the right tools for each step is really important too. So when it comes to tools for landing pages, Optimize Press is my favorite. It's a one-time fee, once a year. The first year it's $97. Every year after that it's $47. Where I think for lead pages you pay $47 to $67 a month. And I heard it doesn't track emails, if you forget, I don't know, I read this somewhere that if you forget to click a box or something, then you might actually lose leads through lead pages. So make sure you're doing that. Don't ever lose your leads. And then there's some other things like ClickBank and things that you could use. So just whatever tool is going to work best for your business. But I always try and find that I'm a cheapo. I admit it. My monthly expenses are $78 a month.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, I keep it as low as possible. Now, I'd say that because in June next year, it's actually going to be $378 a month because I got a year of Infusionsoft for free at a conference that I went to. So I made the jump to Infusionsoft. So next year, starting in June, it'll be $378. But honestly, I went from almost $200 a month down to 78 when I switched to Infusionsoft. So I'm saving about $100 a month, but it incorporated more tools using Infusionsoft. Like they have their own credit card system now and everything. So you don't have to have a merchant account. You don't have to use PayPal or anything. It's all integrated. So, making that change was good. So even though my expenses are going to go up, and since I'm using it to its fullest capacity, it was a good move. So really, if you look at that, how is it benefiting you? How is it helping the structure of your business? Is it saving you time? Is it doing everything you need it to do? Are you using all of the capabilities of a program? One of my clients was using Entreport. She had no idea how to use it except to send out one email at a time. It wasn't a smart move for her. She needed to use something that was more manageable for her. So when you start making out these processes, you're going to see, oh, I'm not even using this tool. Why am I paying for it every month? Or this tool is $10 a month, but if I paid $10 more a month, I would maybe save several more hours. So what is your time worth, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Awesome. Awesome. So, oh my gosh, like, where does the time go?
Right?
And I swear I say that and I'll probably say that every episode too. But I'm like, for real, guys, like it really does speed, and it's like so much because I really do enjoy learning different ways that people look at systems and processes because I can always use improvement in that area myself.
I think we all can. I mean, I evaluate my systems like every 4 months. I sit down and look at it and see, because we all do it, right? We all get SOS, shiny object syndrome. We buy this, we buy that. Like I have Pop-Up Alley and I almost bought Monster Opt-in or Opt-in Monster. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't need Opt-in Monster. I have Pop-Up Alley. Why would I pay twice for something I have? So we all have to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So before we go, can you leave us with one final wisdom nugget or one final power boost?
Absolutely. So I would have to say, let's see, I actually wrote down something because I want to make sure I tell you the same thing, the right thing. So number one, show up in your business. Make sure that you are in your business, you're involved, and you don't forget about your business on the day-to-day basis. The next thing is to be sure and be consistent. So show up, be consistent, and most importantly, invest in yourself. If you are not investing in yourself, your clients won't invest in you either.
Good point. Yes.
It's worked for me every time I've hired a coach. I've almost doubled my income every time I've hired a coach. So it's worth it.
Definitely. I can attest to that since I seriously just did my numbers and I saw the difference. So it's very, very recent because I considered this my coachless year, and I big time saw the a huge difference in my income. So she's right. She's telling the truth. Awesome. Sheila, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
You're welcome, Lynette. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. And everyone, thank you so much. Take care of yourself. And until next time.